I'm Martin Weiss for lineups.com, and here's the worst bad beat by round of the NCAA tournament. In 2012, Iona was a 2-point underdog to BYU that had a 55-30 lead at one point in the first half. After that, the Gales went hurricane. It could not make a bucket. They went scoreless for 9 minutes straight. BYU stormed back, won by 6 after a 17-0 BYU run. I mean, it's to go up by 25, to lose by 6 as a 2-point underdog, that's brutal. A 25-point first half lead. That's a tough beat. Pacific versus Boston College. Pacific is an 8-point underdog. You look like a genius right until a 3 goes in to force overtime. Then wait a second, they go up by 6 in overtime. But as we all know, overtime is where underdogs go to die. Boston College goes on a 14-2 run. The game was tied with just 5 minutes left, and somehow you don't cover +8. You lose the cover by 4 points in a game that went to overtime. You have to hate that. Round of 32. 1 seed Kansas versus 8 seed Seton Hall. Kansas is a 4.5-point favorite. Kansas felt like the right side the whole time, leading by as much as 13 points in the second half. Devontae Graham put Kansas up by 7 in the final seconds, but Miles Powell comes down, hits an off-balance three-pointer, which has no impact. The final score was still 83-79. Seton Hall covers 4.5. Kansas, in a game they led basically from coast to coast, blows the cover for all the bettors involved. And here's the extra bonus. The two teams combined for 27 points in the last minute of the game. The game went over by 7 points. 2013 Sweet 16, Michigan versus Kansas. Michigan has a National Player of the Year in Trey Burke, but Kansas is a 2-point favorite. Point guard for Kansas, Elijah Johnson, had the worst game of his Kansas career. He had 3 first-half fouls and also a flagrant on Mitch McGary when he hit him below the belt. Pretty much summed it up for Kansas that day. Trey Burke was 0 for 7 in the first half. He had his worst outing in the first half of the entire season. He comes back, 23 points, 10 assists, all 23 points happening in the second half. The worst part, the game went to overtime and it never should have. Michigan was able to hit a 3 because Kansas didn't foul ahead of Trey Burke's Player of the Year moment when he dotted that 3 to send the game to overtime. Kansas -2 was that close to cashing. The 2000 Elite 8, Iowa State versus Michigan State. Iowa State +5 was up 7 with 5 minutes to go. Michigan State ended the game on a 23-5 run. Mo Peterson and the Flintstones, on the way to winning Tom Izzo's one national title, had 17 points. Mateen Cleaves also involved in this one. But the key here, Larry Eustace, Iowa State head coach, gets ejected with 9 seconds left. Those technical free throws allowed Michigan State to push the lead. They had no shot at covering this despite being up 7 with 5 minutes to go. 2004 Final Four, UConn and Duke. UConn favored by 2. They're up 4, 3 seconds left. Emeka Okafor hits a free throw. The game should be over. Chris Duhon takes the inbound. Because you have to take the inbound, they're going to get a 5-second violation. That's basically it. He takes the inbound, runs as fast as he can to half court, and shoots a launching 3 that goes off the backboard. Guess what? UConn still advances. Guess what? Duke still loses. Guess what? UConn only wins by 1. Duke and the Duhon double cross of 2004 is arguably the most famous bad beat in history because it happened in the Final Four in 2 seconds it took him to get from the baseline to half court to heave that 3-point shot. The 2008 National Championship, Memphis and Kansas. Memphis 2-point favorites. Memphis was up 9 with 2 minutes left, but could not hit a free throw as Kansas was intentionally fouling. Derrick Rose and Chris Douglas-Roberts went 1 for 5 down the stretch, and Mario Chalmers comes and hits the biggest shot in Kansas basketball history, forcing overtime in the national championship. Afterwards, Memphis just completely wilted, outscored 24-8 in the final 7 minutes of their year, had the trophy in the hands, and bettors had Memphis -2 in their pockets.